Hey everyone. In almost every major religion, there is a source of good and a source of evil. Good is usually associated with one or multiple gods, while evil is often embodied by a malicious, destructive character. So today, let's know about some of the equivalents of Satan in other religions around the world. Let's start the video, but before that, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like this video. In Christianity, the devil appeared in many different forms to try to tempt Jesus. In Buddhism, a demon called Mara played a similar role with the Buddha. Mara is a lord of the senses and is associated with desire on all things contrary to enlightenment. As the Buddha sat under a tree waiting for enlightenment, Mara appeared and tried to make him abandon his mission. His first attempt was unsuccessful, so Mara sent his 3 daughters, that is thirst, desire, and delight, to seduce the Buddha. The Buddha preserved and experienced enlightenment, but he had doubts that others would be able to understand it. There are other devilish figures in Japanese Buddhism. Hell, known as Jigoku, is ruled over by a demon called Emma-O. Emma-O is a lord of death who judges each soul who enters his realm. Like some kind of terrifying Santa Claus, Emma-O consults his long list of every sin ever committed. He is assisted in his decision making by 2 disembodied heads that usually sit on either side of him. The female head, called Mirumi, has the power to see the deceased's deepest flaws, while the male head, called Kaguhana, can detect any misdeeds they are trying to hide. In ancient Greek mythology, Hades is the god of the underworld. Good and evil are not as black and white in Greek mythology as they are in Christianity, but Hades is as close to the devil as you'll find in this pagan belief system. Instead of being a torturous realm where sinners go to suffer for eternity, the underworld is simply the resting place for the souls of the dead. Hades rarely left the underworld, but on one occasion he went to the realm of the living to kidnap Persephone and bring her back to be his wife. In ancient Rome, the same gods existed, but under different names. Hades came to be known as Pluto. He is often depicted alongside his 3-headed dog Cerberus, who guarded the gates of the underworld. In Norse mythology, Hel is a goddess who rules over the underworld. Hel is the daughter of Loki and a giantess called Angerboda, and is also a giantess herself. She is often described as cruel and gloomy and is usually depicted with a grimace on her face. In Norse mythology, only those who die in battle are sent to heaven or Valhalla, while the rest are sent to the underworld. Hel was responsible for deciding the fate of each soul in the underworld, as they could be sent to a number of different areas for varying degrees of peace or suffering. Zoroastrianism is an ancient religion that is still practiced by small communities, predominantly in Iran and in some parts of India. It's a dualistic religion as it centers around the belief that 2 opposing forces, which is good and evil, are at the center of existence. As such, the 2 key figures in Zoroastrianism are Ahura Mazda, the god figure who represents light, and Ahriman, who represents darkness. These 2 forces are constantly fighting for dominance, but they are also responsible for creating balance in the world. Osiris was a lord of the underworld who sat in judgment over the spirits of the dead. Osiris was aided by Thoth, the god of order, knowledge, and chaos. He presided over the souls of the underworld with Osiris, and those who worried about receiving an unfair judgment would appeal to Thoth for help. Anubis was another god of the underworld, often depicted as a jackal or a man in all black. He guided lost souls in the underworld but also worked against the plans of humankind. I have already made a video on Thoth, so if you want to know more about it, please click on the I button. Mayan civilization thrived in Mesoamerica until the arrival of the Spanish conquistadors during the 1500s. There were a range of heroes and gods worshipped in Mayan mythology, including the death gods. Despite the ominous name, many of the death gods were associated with positive things like rejuvenation and rebirth. Sizin was the death god who kept the souls of sinners trapped in the underworld to suffer for eternity. He is often depicted wearing a necklace made of eyeballs. In some ancient artwork, he is shown dancing and smoking. He was said to give off a terrible odor and was also known as the Stinking One. When the Spanish arrived and learned about the beliefs of the Mayans, they closely associated Sizin with the Christian devil. Yama is a god of death in Hinduism. Not as much as evil, he was the first person to ever die and is considered as a deity, and as such he created the path to mortality for all of mankind. Since his death, he has presided over the underworld and decides the fate of the souls that follows him. Yama is a majestic figure typically depicted in strong colors and dressed in red. He is usually accompanied by his two four-eyed dogs who act as the guardians of his kingdoms. He also rides a buffalo carrying a noose and a mace. It is said that Yama's noose follows each person throughout their lives. The length of their life is determined by the distance between their neck and his noose. The Yazidi people of Kurdistan follow an ancient belief system that centers around a fallen angel. This angel, called Melek Taus, fell from heaven but was later forgiven by God, who sent him to take care of mankind. Melek Taus is usually depicted as a peacock in religious artwork. Melek Taus is one of the central figures of the Yazidi religion and is worshipped as an angel and savior. The Yazidis see him as a benevolent leader rather than an evil figure. The Yazidi people are seen as devil worshippers by some of their Islamic neighbors. Some communities have even persecuted and driven them from their homes. Well, that's it for today. I hope you're liking Nerdies Discoveries. Can't wait for the next video to learn more and be fascinated about. See you on the next. Bye.